What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes checking in here. Going to talk to Grant Dawson, KGD, who's got a big fight coming up against Rafael Silva. And it takes place in a few weeks in Las Vegas at the Apex. These are two of the top lightweights in the world. What's up, Grant? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me on again.
Good. Always a pleasure. And we were just joking around. We threw out the name Jorge Masvidal. He's back in the gym. Looks like Dustin Poirier wants to maybe run one more. What kind of an effect is it having some of these guys that I guess you grew up with being in the gym? They're close to your weight. I don't know if you guys train together or not. But what's like, I guess, having that kind of talent, and slowly then you become an OG and some of the younger guys look up to you.
Well, let's not be throwing OG around with my name just yet, guys. I got a long way to go before I'm in the talk about a veteran or anything like that. But no, it's been really great. I grew up watching these guys, watching Thiago Alves, watching Dustin Poirier, watching Jorge Masvidal, and now I train with these guys, and one of them is my coach. It's absolutely insane. I try to live my life. 8-year-old Grant and 80-year-old Grant would be proud of me. Those are how I try to live my life, and right now I think both would be real proud of me.
You're definitely not old. You're only 30, but you have had close to 15 fights in the UFC, which is impressive, and your overall record is impressive. We always tell you that. So how can you, now that you've gotten that loss out of the way, you came back strong with a win, how can you make sure this next run cashes in what you want and what every fighter wants, and that's gold?
Man, I'm really not sure. I honestly don't know. The number one thing is always win. So that's the thing that I can get better at, is just always winning and always putting in my best performance. I see. I'm not really a trash talker. I wish I was. I wish I was more of a trash talker, but it feels fake when I do it. If I mean something, I'll say it. If I don't mean it, I'm not. I'm probably not going to say it. But it's scary because there's guys that are trash talkers and they're good at trash talking and they don't get their shot, and then there's guys that win fight after fight after fight, but they don't talk any trash and they don't get their shot. So I'm more and more I am believing that this is about who you've beat and when you beat them, and just staying on a big win streak. So that's my goal right now. Beat Garcia in 11 days and then get a top 15 guy. It's one step at a time. As long as I keep fighting ahead of myself, I think I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, because recently, if you think about it, this year has kind of been the year of, I guess, the guy or gal who's waited a long time to get an opportunity. For example, Bilal Muhammad, he had to wait over a year to get the title shot after he beat Gilbert Burns last year, like on 3 weeks' notice. And he had like a 10-fight win streak. Then you got Merab Dvalishvili. He had a long road, right? But both became world champs. Recently, I would argue Magomed Ankalaev got surpassed by Khalil Roundtree. Roundtree's got his own 5-fight win streak going, respect, but Ankalaev's been at the top, fighting the top for a long time. And even a young lady who's fighting her last fight this Saturday, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Carla Esparza is going to retire after this fight. She was the inaugural strawweight champ, lost, and then had a long road to get back there, and then won it again. That's, I guess, what I'm alluding to, is you've had some impressive runs and win streaks. I don't want you to get jammed up like them.
Yeah, but I don't know what to do. I've talked to multiple people about it. I've talked to my management team. I've talked to the gym owner, Dan Lambert, about, hey, what can I do to ensure this title shot? And they say the only thing that you can do to ensure a title shot is win. So that's really the only thing I'm going to focus on. I'm trying to be more exciting. I really am. It's just I'm so dominant on the ground. It's so easy for me to take people down, ride them out, get the choke, land lots of punches, make my my percentage of top time even farther away from everybody else in the division that it already is. It's so easy for me to do that. It's hard for me to be like, in a fight, somebody's throwing leather at my face, maybe I'm not going to take them down. The fans want to see me knock him out. It's like, guys, I'm fighting for my life in there. I'm fighting for my wife not to have to go back to work. It's hard for me not to take somebody down when I know I can do it. And the thing that upsets me the most about it is probably they're so picky on on who they like and who they don't and what kind of style they are. Everybody thinks that Islam Makhachev is the coolest thing since sliced bread, but he's doing the same stuff I'm doing, you know? But then when I go ride somebody out, literally in my last fight, I had 13 minutes and 45 seconds of control time in a 15-minute fight. That's insanity. So it's like, where exactly do you have to give up being dominant to be a bit more exciting? So I don't really know what these guys want to see. I'm just going to keep winning.
All right. The only other thing I can think of is if you don't feel like your mic skills are good, because you actually just talked a little smack right now. It was impressive to me. And this is the fight game. Look, a second ago, not a second ago, 30 minutes ago, we were talking about AJ. We were talking to AJ McKee, and he had the little rivalry with the Pitbull brothers. But he says if I were to see him now, he goes, we'd hug it out, we'd laugh about the old times, and maybe share a meal together or whatever. It's just everyone on their hustle trying to get to the top. Is the trash talk not there because you don't want to put someone down, or what would it be? And would you think about maybe just being creative via the social media route then, if you're not gonna speak it, maybe just get creative that way?
I mean, yeah, I guess my biggest thing is I don't want to lie. My dad raised me to tell the truth and to always. It's not a respect thing. It's really not. If I don't like somebody, I will let you guys know. Matt Favola got knocked out this last weekend, and I couldn't be happier because I'm petty. But he, you know what I mean. So like, I don't have I don't have any problem talking trash. It's just that I don't really have a problem with anybody, and I don't. It's like you said, like AJ McKee, all of that was just fake, you know. Oh, I didn't mean a single word of it. It's like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, why'd you say it then? I just, for me, being honest and being myself is my number one thing and my number one goal. And I've tried to talk trash and it's always backfired on me. I've tried to like create some type of animosity where none existed, and it's always backfired on me. So for me right now, my mindset is, look, I'm a nice guy, but I'm gonna fight like an asshole.
All right, I just want to clear something up before we go to goes. It was real for them back then. It's just that they all kind of grew up and matured, and now everyone's made some money. They've both won some gold, and so
You're
now I think they can laugh it off. But I don't think he insinuated to us that it was ever fake. I mean, I think they really had heat between them.
Yeah, you're talking about people growing up, and I'm already grown up, bro. Like, if I don't like you, I don't like you. Now, my opinion on you can change, but if I don't like you, I'm not gonna like you. And if I have nothing against you, I'm not gonna create animosity where there isn't some. And some people like Bobby Green. Bobby Green has to be disliked to perform well. You know, I have nothing against Bobby Green, and I knew that the entire time when we were getting ready to fight that it was an act. I knew the whole thing was an act, but he had to do that for himself to get himself into that zone, and he beat me. So good job to him. You know, he got himself in that zone. He got me good. Like, it's all good, but it's just, I don't think I would perform as well as I have. And if you look back at some of my performances, my worst performances are the ones where I'm trying to create that animosity. And, you know, it's not about the mic skills. I speak very well on the mic, even though I'm not talking trash. I speak very well. Diego Lopez doesn't really talk a lot of trash, and he's like the hot new thing right now. I don't know what it is. It's just, I think everybody's different, and I do think my time is coming. I do think at some point people are going to realize how good I actually am.
Goofy haircut? Huh?
Goofy, yeah, dude. Like, I'm a straight white dude that's religious and happily married. Like, there's 1,000 of me, bro. Like, I get it.
Dude, I was just as soon as he said Diego Lopez, I pictured him with Diego Lopez hair, and I was like, huh, I wonder if that was it.
Shit, I thought you guys were talking about me. I was like, damn, I should have worn a hat.
Hey, Grant. So look, when people look at you, they see you're coming from an incredible gym with incredible training partners, awesome coaches. So preparation's always to be expected to be top notch. But when they close the cage door, a lot of fighters say just a different switch sometimes comes on. Can you talk about preparation versus reaction and what happens in your mindset for fights?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you always want to be as prepared as you can. And I think the biggest thing that I've realized, I think the the number one thing that I could give to a young fighter, the number one thing I could give to somebody coming up is to understand that every single fight, emotionally, physically, it's going to be different. When I fought Damir Ismagulov, I was not nervous at all, like not even a little bit. And it was one of those things where I was like, dude, I got to start like getting a little nervous because I'm too relaxed, I'm too calm. And I went out there and did amazing. When I fought Mads Burnell, I almost pulled out of the fight all day that day. I was incredibly sick. I felt terrible. I was warming up, and it was one of those situations where I was like, okay, I'm probably going to lose this fight. I'm going to walk to the cage. I'm going to fight him because I'm a man, and I said I would. But the way I'm feeling right now, I'm probably going to lose this fight. And then he hit me one time, and it clicked, and my competitive side took over, and I got the dub and one of my better performances. So I think the biggest thing to understand for these young fighters is you're going to feel different every single fight. You're going to think you got it figured out, and then the very next fight, you're going to be like, wow, why do I feel so nervous? I'm fighting a lesser guy than the last guy. Why am I so nervous? Or I'm a big favorite, or I'm a huge underdog. It's every fight is different. And knowing when I get punched in the face, my competitive side is going to come out, and I'm going to flip that switch, and I'm not going to be Grant Dawson anymore. I'm going to be the competitor that I know I am.
Makes sense. So I've been on this little kick here lately about trying to figure out fighters a little bit more. Some of the things that we don't really think about, the pressures that you guys have. We spoke to Kayla Harrison, and I had asked her about just the tying in motherhood, being a good fighter and a good mother, if they ever kind of go hand in hand, if there's pressure with that. And what I want to ask you is something similar. I know I feel like we're name dropping a lot, but we just spoke to Gilbert Melendez. And I remember back in the day, he used to talk about the scrap pack and the pressures of training with Jake Shields, Nate Diaz, and Nick Diaz. He said there was a little bit of pressure to kind of keep up with those guys. They were his training partners. You have tremendous training partners. And I know sometimes gyms talk about momentum from training partners. Is there a sort of like pressure that goes along with that we don't ever really think about?
Uh, I think, look, I think that there's always going to be a different type of pressure no matter what you do. When I trained at Glory, I was one of, if not the best dude in the room, and there were pressures that came along with that. If I had a single bad day or a single bad practice, or God forbid somebody submitted me, it ruined my whole week, and it ruined my whole training schedule. And I was like, so hard on myself. And I didn't realize why until I came to American Top Team. The reason why was I knew that I was not in the gym that I had to be in to become a world champion. I said I wanted to be a world champion, but I was training like I wanted to be just a regular UFC fighter. And so when something would go wrong, I would be like, man, this guy who's not even in the UFC just submitted me. Like, how can I become a world champion if this nobody, and that's not a shot on anybody, you get what I'm saying, this guy without a name just submitted me, how can I become a world champion? So there were pressures there. Fast forward, you're in American Top Team and you're getting submitted every day. It's not as big of a deal because, one, nobody cares, nobody makes a big deal about it, but two, these guys are the best guys in the world. Like, they're absolutely phenomenal. If I'm not getting submitted by them, like, that would be even more insane. So there's different pressures that come with training with really good guys. Yes, I want to be on that level. Yes, these guys are speaking very highly of me, so when I step into the cage, I want to make sure that everything that they're saying is true. But there's other pressures not training with these types of guys.
Your division is absolutely insane, the talent level that's there. Um, when you think about these guys, like, when the UFC calls you and says, we got this guy in front of you, what do you think? Do you keep tabs on everyone? Do you kind of know everybody in that division, or do they ever throw a name and you kind of go, who? Like, I don't really know much about this guy.
I don't remember the last time they asked me to fight somebody who I didn't know who they were. I watch an insane amount of film. I watch the fights every single weekend. Uh, I watch the fights usually like 3 times. I watch it as a fan, I watch it as the winner, and then I watch it as the loser. And so it's usually I've got so much fight knowledge from just watching fights over and over. And especially when it comes to my division, I'm always keeping tabs on guys in my division. Guys that are 1-0 in the UFC, I'm keeping tabs on them. It's like, ooh, that guy's kind of tough. Like, might have to keep an eye on him. He might work his way up. And I have a thing called FOMO, the fear of missing out. I'm so afraid that somebody's going to invent a new move, or somebody's going to invent a new way of fighting that would work perfectly for me. And if I'm not watching, I might miss it. So I'm always watching fights. I've got the division very, very much on notice. I've got game plans for I'm like Batman getting ready to take out the Justice League. I've got a contingency plan for every single fighter in the top 15 and the top 25.
All right, Batman. Can we put you to the test?
That's it. Oh, now here we go. I'm gonna lose.
Break down, if you don't mind, Ilir Poteria versus Cesar Almeida. They fight this weekend at UFC 307.
All right. What's the weight class? My weight class?
185.
Yeah, I don't know who these guys are. Sorry.
Ooh, Batman. Batman got had by Fat Man.
Hey, I said Batman for my division. Throw a fight at me in my division.
Okay, let me find one for your division. There's I think it's Alexander Hernandez. Is he back at 55? Yeah, he's going to be fighting Austin Hubbard.
So I actually think that Austin Hubbard's going to do a lot better in that fight than people think he's going to do. Hernandez, I do believe he does much, much better at 155 than he does at 145. However, the things that I see with Hernandez is he's too hot out of the gate. He has always got a very good first round. In fact, I don't think I've ever even really seen him lose a first round. Does really, really well with a first round. He's got really good fast twitch. But Austin is one of those guys that just sticks around. Austin Hubbard, he fought a buddy of mine, Dakota Bush. I know him very, very well. He's always in the fight. So Hernandez fights like this: up, down, heart rate monitor, boom, 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 boom. Whereas Hubbard just right here the whole time. Like, it's nothing flashy, it's nothing crazy, but man, he's consistent. He's on, I believe, a 2-fight win streak. He just beat a guy that he was supposed to lose against. I actually think Austin Hubbard is going to do much better in that fight than people think he is. Now, Hernandez is dangerous, very dangerous. He could absolutely go out there and get a quick finish. I could see that happening, but if the fight goes to decision, I'm going to take Hubbard.
Hey, Zach Candido, give this guy a tryout, man. This guy would be good on television. That was really, really good. We've always told you give good interviews, so you can definitely have the mic skills. We respect the fact that the trash talk just ain't your thing, but you definitely give good interviews, and that was a nice breakdown. So great job on that. Let's end with this. And sorry that I'm consumed with it, but I have an idea. I know you love the Apex. You've done well in the Apex, but maybe if you just become the road team, right? Like, look at Brian Battle. Is there really a reason to hate on the guy? No, he seems like a nice fella, right? But he was getting booed out there in France, but yet he went out there, he fought, he won. Maybe he won over some people. He did flip some birds. Who knows? What about maybe just being the road dog, and fighting Pimlet, I guess, in England, or fighting, Silva maybe at the Sphere card a few weeks ago, just being the guy that can kind of soak up maybe different types of not cheers and not boos, but just reactions.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my passport. Sean Shelby knows he can send me anywhere. I'm not going to say no because of a location. The only reason I would ever turn down a fight is if it was an ATT guy, or if I didn't have enough time to make the weight. Those are the only reason. Otherwise, like, I don't care if they're behind me. I don't care if they're ahead of me. I'll take the fight. I don't care if they're trash talkers or any of that stuff. I'll fight Patty. I'll fight all these guys. I really don't care. It's just that it kind of works out to where they put me on the Apex card. I do think that I think that Brian Battle is a good guy, and I think that it was how crappy those fans are. The French fans are just absolutely atrocious. They boo you if their guy loses. They boo you if their guy wins. They boo you if you don't show up for the fight because they wanted to see him fight. And then they boo you if you have a good performance. Those guys are just so against anything that isn't other French fighters. So I don't really know if that was a Brian Battle thing, or if the French fans are just absolutely atrociously terrible. And we're going to have to send some guys over there to save their asses from another war at some point. But, yeah, French fans are kind of the worst. I will say they are the loudest. I cornered my buddy Thiago Moises when he fought Benoit, and that was the loudest crowd I've ever heard in my entire life. But it was actually one of the smelliest too.
All right. In 1 year, Grant Dawson's going to fight Benoit Saint-Denis in Paris, France. I already envisioned it. I already threw it out there. You're going to get mercilessly booed, but it's going to be a great fight. But yeah, no, there you go. That was pretty good. I guess and that was organic. We didn't even plan that, but that was good stuff there.
Yeah, I tell you, if I believe it, I'll say it. It's just I don't really.
Are you saying the people were smelly or the Seine River? Because I heard they cleaned it up for the Olympics, or was it the people?
Dude, I was there we were there for 12 days, and it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my entire life. Our Airbnb was like, it had cockroaches. It was disgusting. It was one of the smelliest, grossest places I've ever been. Nice sights. I will say that. It had like the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that was kind of cool. But other than that, I'm not a big sights guy. I'm not a big, ooh, look, that's pretty. It's like, yeah, I can't really tell because it stinks here.
Hey, one last one. How many lightweights are at American Top Team?
Oh, God. Like just in the UFC or like?
Yeah, and just in the UFC, because you said you wouldn't fight like ATT guys. I was just curious how many there are. I don't know off the top of my head. Saruki and Poirier, yourself. Who else?
We got Dustin. We got me. We got Gamrot. We got Moicano, Moises. That's 5.
Damn.
That's
solid fighters.
We had Demir at one point, but after we got signed to fight, he left. So don't have him. Arman Sarukian. That's 7.
Well, here's my point, Grant. I've heard this before, right? I'm not calling it baloney or none of that. I won't be disrespectful like that. But I remember Swick, Fitch, and Koscheck wouldn't fight each other. They used to say, if you want to see us fight, come down on sparring day to San Jose, blah, blah, blah. So they never fought each other, but I felt like they kind of throttled each other's road to the title because of that. Because, Dana doesn't really like that, right? Mm-hmm. But if you follow them on social media or just follow them at all, one guy's in Thailand living it up with his own gym, Swick. Koscheck, I think, got into like racing cars or whatever, kind of like extreme sports. And I think he might even be back in Pittsburgh. He left Fresno. And then Fitch is stuck in California. He's got his podcast going. It doesn't seem to me that brotherhood kind of lasted. And I feel like a lot of fighters have made the mistake. You should believe in your teammates. You should believe in your brotherhood. You do make each other better. I get it. And some people do stay friends for a long time. I think 2 of the guys that fought at PFL, they accused of throwing a fight. They baptized each other's kids a few years ago or whatever. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, the PFL guys. But I also honestly believe a lot of times you guys all just go in your own direction.
Yeah.
And maybe an opportunity is missed because of that stance of not fighting the teammate.
Yeah. Here's what I'll leave you with. And it's 2 points here. One, if the belt is on the line, I will fight anybody. If the UFC World Championship is on the line, if they said, look, Moicano's the champ and Grant's the number 1 contender, Moicano is my boy. I know Moicano would be mad at me if I didn't take that fight, right?
Okay.
My point is there are so many guys into the top 15. There are so many guys in this weight class. You said it yourself. We have one of the densest weight classes with the most talent. There's no reason for me and a training partner to hurt each other's careers and possibly, like, let's say me and Moicano fought right now, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not ranked. Let's say I get ranked 15 after this fight. I have a good performance and I fight Moicano. Either way, no matter who wins that fight, one is going to progress. Hi, buddy. Nope. Hi, buddy. Sorry, my dog's all over me.
Let's see your dog.
Is going to progress, and the other one is going to have to fight his way back. And one of us has more time than the other. So it's one of those situations where it's like, I'd rather just let Moicano, not saying that I could, beat him, but anybody can win. It's better to just let him fight somebody else like Dan Hooker and work his way up. And I'll fight somebody like Patty or whatever it is. I think there's more options. Me and Dustin aren't going to fight. Dustin's, he's looking for the legacy fights. That's not Grant Dawson. So the realistic ones are Moicano and Gamrot, who are the 2 guys that I train with the most when they're in the gym. Like, that's 2 people out of 15. You can find me a different fight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, you put it well. I got you. All right. Can we see your dog? Is he still around?
Oh,
Look at that.
Ooh.
This is
What's
my-
his name?
his name is Caesar. He's a puppy and he's huge.
That's a cool
Man.
dog, man. I like his eyes.
Yeah, he's
Great
such
stuff,
a
Grant Dawson. Always great catching up with you. I'm glad we can chop it up on these topics. Some are difficult or whatever, but you always keep it professional and stuff. So thank you so much. I hope you have a safe camp, whatever's left here, a couple weeks, weight cut, all that travels to Las Vegas. And should be a good one, man. Silva's a good lightweight as well, man. So can't wait for that. Thanks again for always jumping on Junkie Radio with us.
real quick.
Mhm.
I wasn't gonna do this, but since you made fun of me for not knowing about the 85-pound fight, my opponent's last name is Garcia, not Silva.
Oh shit. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking of Danny Silva. Okay, Rafael
I
Garcia.
wasn't gonna say anything, but then you caught
No,
me
I deserve it.
five
I deserve it.
getting one back.
Do you want to
I
know what
deserve
makes it even worse?
What's that?
Our last name is Garcia. So
So I wonder who you guys are gonna be rooting for.
nah.
And we're part Mexican, so yeah, man. Take that, Grant. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I think I'll root for you. I don't know Garcia too well. I just root for a good fight. I want the winner to get paid. I want all finishers to get bonuses. And if it's the fight of the night, then you guys deserve that as well. And hopefully, the bruises, the scratches, whatever's there, doesn't, and you don't take brain trauma, and then hopefully you guys can run another fight in 3-4 months.
Yeah.
I always hope the best for you guys.
100%, man. There's no animosity for this. Like, it's just business.
Yep. All right, my man. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.